Geishashis of Alliance. The Meranti homeworld of Luminara shimmered like an azure jewel in the darkness of space, its 3 moons casting silver reflections across vast crystal forests and bioluminescent oceans. From his observation deck aboard the diplomatic vessel Harmony Bridge, Ambassador Thelos admired the view, while finalizing preparations for the upcoming human delegation. 6 years of alliance with Earth had transformed Meranti society, bringing advances in medicine, agriculture, and digital technology in exchange for the Meranti's expertise in sustainable energy and biological engineering. Final communication check complete. Ambassador, reported Isla, his chief communications officer. Her silvery skin shimmered with the neural patterns that were characteristic of all Meranti when processing complex information. The Earth delegation will arrive within the next planetary cycle. They're particularly excited about the terraforming proposal. Thelos nodded, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a gesture of satisfaction. This partnership continues to exceed expectations. The humans' creativity complements our methodical approach perfectly. Neither of them noticed the small anomalies appearing on the long-range scanners, dismissing them as routine sensor glitches. The Meranti had been at peace for so long that the concept of an unprovoked attack seemed inconceivable. But the Galactic hegemony, a coalition of 9 advanced species that controlled 70% of known space, had watched the human-Meranti alliance with growing concern. Humans were newcomers to interstellar politics, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 11 years ago. The hegemony's ruling council had initially dismissed them as primitive, resourceful, but harmless. The Meranti, with their advanced biological science but minimal military capabilities, had never posed a threat either. Together, however, they represented something the hegemony could not tolerate: independent progress outside their control. The first plasma bombardment struck without warning. Massive energy beams sliced through Luminara's minimal planetary defenses like a scythe through grass. The diplomatic station disintegrated in seconds. Ambassador Thelos watched in horror as destruction rained down on his homeworld. Government centers, scientific facilities, and cultural landmarks vaporized one after another. "Emergency protocols," he shouted, but his crew was already moving. "Contact Earth immediately. All available escape vessels, launch now." The Harmony Bridge shuddered as it broke orbit, its engines straining against gravitational pull. Behind them, 15 hegemony warships moved into attack formation, their massive hulls eclipsing Luminara's sun. "Ambassador," Isla's voice trembled, "they're targeting population centers now. Estimated casualties already in the millions." Thelos stared at the tactical display, paralyzed by the scale of destruction. "Why? We've violated no treaties, threatened no one." "Incoming transmission from the hegemony flagship," Isla reported. The screen flickered to life, revealing Supreme Executor Drav Kozar, his chitinous exoskeleton gleaming under ceremonial armor. "Ambassador Thelos, your species has been judged and found wanting. Your alliance with humans violates the natural order established by the hegemony. This purge serves as an object lesson to other species considering similar arrangements. You're committing genocide against a peaceful civilization." Thelos protested, but the executor continued as if he hadn't spoken. "Your remaining colonies will be cleansed within the cycle. Your genetic lineage will be preserved in our archives as a reminder of the consequences of defiance. Any species harboring Meranti refugees will face similar judgment." The communication ended abruptly. On the tactical display, more hegemony vessels appeared near Meranti colony worlds. "Set course for Earth," Thelos ordered, his voice hollow. "Maximum speed. We must warn them." 7 diplomatic vessels and 38 civilian ships carrying approximately 230,000 Meranti refugees managed to escape the initial assault. Less than 1% of a civilization that had numbered over 6 billion. Admiral Helena Chen stood rigid before the viewscreen in Earth's orbital command, watching as the damaged Meranti vessels limped toward them. 23 years in the United Earth Defense Force had prepared her for many crises, but nothing like this. "Status report," she demanded. Commander Javier Rodriguez consulted his neural interface. 3 diplomatic vessels, including a Harmony bridge, and 11 refugee ships have reached our outer defense perimeter. The others are scattered, pursued by hegemony interceptors. Ambassador Thelos is requesting emergency docking and direct communication with Earth leadership. Chen's dark eyes narrowed. "Grant immediate clearance. Activate defense platforms and deploy the 7th Fleet to secure their approach vector. The refugees are under Earth's protection now." "Admiral." Rodriguez hesitated. "The hegemony outguns us by orders of magnitude. Their technology is impressive but not invincible." Chen finished. "Alert all commands. Activation code Sierra Epsilon 9. Rodriguez paled. "The Shadow Fleet? That's for extinction-level threats only. And what would you call the systematic extermination of our allies, Commander?" Chen's voice was steel. "Implement the order." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations stirred to life. While Earth had presented a modest technological face to the galactic community, its history of conflict had driven military innovation in secret, beneath the surface of Mars, inside asteroid bases, and in the clouds of Saturn. Humanity's true deterrent force awakened. In the secure conference chamber aboard Earth Orbital Defense Station Aegis, Ambassador Thelos faced the United Earth Defense Council. His silver skin had dulled to ash gray with grief, but his voice remained steady as he presented the evidence of genocide. "Within 6 hours, the hegemony destroy our homeworld and 3 major colonies. Their fleet is methodically eliminating every Meranti settlement and outpost. Holographic images displayed cratered worlds and fragmenting space stations. We estimate fewer than 5 million survivors remain, most in deep space habitats that haven't yet been discovered." Admiral Chen studied the tactical data with growing rage. "Their attack pattern is designed for maximum psychological impact. They're making an example of you." "This wasn't a military decision," added General Quaim Okafor, Earth's senior ground forces commander. "It's political. The hegemony fears our alliance specifically." President Ileana Vasquez, who had maintained silence throughout the briefing, finally spoke. "Ambassador Thelos, I want to be absolutely clear. Earth stands with the Meranti people. We will provide sanctuary to all refugees, and we will respond to this atrocity with appropriate force." Thelos blinked his 4 eyes in sequence, this time in surprise. "Madam President, while I am grateful beyond words for your compassion, the hegemony controls thousands of worlds. Their technology exceeds both our species. They've maintained dominance for over 6,000 years." President Vasquez smiled thinly. "The hegemony has never faced humans before, Ambassador. They're about to learn why that was a serious miscalculation." As the meeting concluded, Admiral Chen escorted Ambassador Thelos to the medical center where Meranti refugees were receiving treatment. "There's something you should know," she said quietly. "Earth has been preparing for a scenario like this since our first deep space scans detected hegemony weapon signatures." Thelos stopped walking. "You anticipated this attack." "Not specifically against the Meranti," Chen clarified. "But we recognized the hegemony's pattern of eliminating potential rivals before they become threats. Earth's history is filled with empires that operated the same way." She gestured toward a secure door that opened to reveal a laboratory where human scientists worked alongside several Meranti specialists. "What is this?" Thelos asked. "Integration," Chen replied. "Your biological technology combined with our weapon systems. We've been developing it in secret for 3 years." Dr. Sanjay Patel, Earth's leading biotechnologist, approached with a Meranti scientist named Vela. Between them, they carried what appeared to be a living circuit board, veins of luminescent fluid running through metallic pathways. "The prototype is ready," Dr. Patel announced. "Meranti neural systems can interface directly with our targeting computers. The reaction time is unprecedented." Vela's skin rippled with excitement. This integration allows our natural telepathic abilities to coordinate your weapon systems with perfect synchronization. One Meranti pilot can control an entire drone fleet with thought alone. For the first time since the attack, hope flickered in Ambassador Thelos' eyes. You've been planning for war all along. We've been planning for survival, Admiral Chen corrected. Human history taught us to hope for peace but prepare for conflict. The hegemony believes they're punishing a minor species for associating with primitive newcomers. They have no idea what they've actually done. Which is? Thelos asked. They've united humanity against an external threat, Chen said grimly. That never ends well for the threat. The hegemony battlecruiser Inevitable Dominance moved methodically through the remains of the Meranti colony on Vesta Prime. Captain Grelfox supervised the final bombardment from the command deck, his multifaceted eyes registering satisfaction as the last structures collapsed into rubble. Colony cleansing complete, Captain, reported his tactical officer. No survivors detected. Excellent, Grelfox chittered. Set course for the human border world of Proxima Centauri II. The Council wishes to deliver their warning personally. The massive ship entered hyperspace, unaware it was being tracked by satellites too small for conventional detection. Throughout the Meranti genocide, Earth's microscopic spy drones had cataloged hegemony ship movements, shield frequencies, and weapons capabilities. At the Mars shipyards, a facility officially listed as a mining operation, Admiral Chen reviewed the intelligence with her strike team commanders. The hegemony follows predictable combat doctrine. They rely on technological superiority and overwhelming force rather than tactical innovation. Commander Sophia Diaz, captain of the stealth destroyer Silent Justice, studied the hegemony ship schematics. Their shields have never been tested against our kinetic penetrators or quantum disruptors because we've never revealed those technologies. Precisely, Chen nodded. Operation Reciprocity launches in 36 hours. The hegemony believes they're about to deliver terms of surrender to Earth. Instead, they'll encounter the full combat capabilities of humanity. Throughout the solar system, Earth's true military might emerge from hiding. Ships with angular stealth geometries and matte black hulls that absorbed sensor scans gathered near Jupiter, using the gas giant's radiation belts for additional concealment. On Luna, massive rail guns capable of accelerating projectiles to near relativistic speeds were brought online. In Earth orbit, 8 carrier groups assembled their fighter squadrons, each craft now equipped with Meranti neural interfaces that allowed unprecedented coordination. The newest addition to Earth's arsenal, the flagship Retribution, represented the pinnacle of human Meranti cooperation. Its conventional engines were supplemented by Meranti bioreactors that produced energy through artificial photosynthesis. Its hull incorporated living tissue layers that could self-heal minor damage. Most importantly, its command center featured direct neural links for human Meranti joint operations teams. Admiral Chen took command of the Retribution personally, with Ambassador Thelos serving as her executive officer. Together, they would lead Earth's response to the hegemony's aggression. As the fleet prepared for departure, President Vasquez addressed all ships from Earth Command. You carry with you not only the hopes of humanity but the justice owed to our Meranti allies. The hegemony believes their technological advantage makes them invincible. They believe their age grants them the right to determine which species may rise and which must fall. Her expression hardened. Today they learn that humanity does not recognize their authority. Today they learn that Earth stands with its allies, no matter the cost. The hegemony has existed for 6,000 years without serious challenge. That era ends now. Throughout the fleet, human and Meranti crew members prepared for battle. Their different physiologies, cultures, and histories united by a common purpose, survival and justice. The Retribution led the Earth fleet into formation. Admiral Chen looked at Ambassador Thelos, who now wore the uniform of the United Earth Defense Force, with a special insignia recognizing his diplomatic status. Ready to make history, Ambassador? She asked. Phyllis's silver skin rippled with determination. "Ready to ensure the Meranti have a future, Admiral." Chen nodded and opened the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, prepare for hyperspace jump. Operation Reciprocity commences now." 147 Earth warships vanished into hyperspace, beginning humanity's first interstellar war, a conflict the hegemony never saw coming and would never forget. Rekeoning. Supreme Executor Drav Kozar stood proudly on the command deck of the hegemony flagship Eternal Dominion, watching as his armada assembled near the human colony of Proxima Centauri II. 23 capital ships and over 100 support vessels formed a sphere of overwhelming firepower, the traditional hegemony formation designed to crush resistance through visual intimidation alone. "Communications, prepare to broadcast our terms," he ordered, his chitinous mandibles clicking in anticipation. "Sensors, full sweep of the human defenses." His sensor officer, a six-limbed Valaxian with compound eyes that processed data at remarkable speeds, looked up in confusion. "Executor, we're detecting minimal defensive emplacements. Only 3 human military vessels in orbit." Drav Kozar's mandibles twitched in amusement. "As expected. The humans know they cannot stand against us. They will sacrifice their alliance with the Meranti to save themselves." He settled into his command throne. "A wise decision, if belated. Begin the broadcast." The transmission never initiated. Without warning, space itself seemed to tear open as 147 vessels of the Earth fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect attack formation, not in front of the hegemony armada where they could be easily targeted, but above, below, and behind it in a three-dimensional encirclement that immediately negated the hegemony's defensive sphere. Drav Kozar rose from his throne in shock. "Impossible. Their technological level doesn't permit coordinated jumps of this precision." "Multiple weapon locks detected," the tactical officer shouted. "Unknown projectiles approaching it." The officer hesitated, checking the readings again. At near relativistic velocities. The first salvo of Earth's kinetic penetrators, tungsten rods accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed, struck the hegemony vessels before their commanders could even order evasive maneuvers. The rods passed through energy shields designed to deflect directed energy weapons, not physical objects moving at such speeds. 8 hegemony ships were crippled in the opening seconds of battle. Aboard the Retribution, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with grim satisfaction. "All ships, execute attack pattern Omega-3. Fighters deploy with Meranti neural support." From Earth's carrier vessels, swarms of fighters launched, each piloted by a human but neurally linked to a Meranti tactical officer whose telepathic abilities coordinated their movements with unnatural precision. The fighters moved in complex formations that seemed to anticipate hegemony countermeasures before they occurred. Ambassador Thelos, linked to the Retribution's tactical systems through a neural interface at the base of his skull, processed battlefield data faster than any computer. Hegemony vessels are reconfiguring shields to counter kinetic weapons. Estimated completion in 47 seconds. "Switch to electromagnetic pulse weapons," Chen ordered. "Target their propulsion systems." The second wave of Earth's attack utilized massive EMP bursts generated by specialized vessels that had remained hidden behind the main fleet. The pulses washed over the hegemony ships, temporarily disrupting their advanced electronics and leaving them vulnerable to conventional missile attacks that followed immediately. The drone attack disintegrated into chaos as nearly half the swarm began firing on hegemony vessels, while others simply deactivated or flew aimlessly into space. "Press the advantage," Chen ordered. "All capital ships target their command vessels with quantum disruptors." Earth's largest warships moved forward, revealing weapon systems unlike anything the hegemony had encountered. The quantum disruptors fired, not energy beams or physical projectiles, but concentrated fields that temporarily altered the fundamental forces within their targets. Hegemony shields, designed to defend against normal physics, provided no protection. On 5 hegemony vessels, including the secondary command ship, Matter briefly lost cohesion at the molecular level. Hull plating flowed like liquid, internal systems fused into useless masses, and life support failed catastrophically. Dravkozar watched in horror as his perfectly orchestrated display of power transformed into a desperate fight for survival. This cannot be happening. They are nothing. They have been spacefaring for barely a decade. His second in command, Sub-Executor Thane, approached with uncharacteristic urgency. Executor, we must withdraw and regroup with the main fleet. The humans possess technologies we haven't cataloged. This is not a species we properly assessed. Withdraw. Before primitives. Dravkozar's voice rose to a chittering shriek. Never. Launch the antimatter warheads. Target their colony world. Thane stepped back in shock. Executor, that violates our own protocols for proportional response. The Council. I am the Council's voice here. Dravkozar shouted. The humans must learn their place. Aboard the Retribution, the Meranti enhanced sensors detected the Hegemony flagship's weapon ports opening. They're arming antimatter weapons, Thelos reported, his skin pulsing with alarm patterns. Target appears to be the colony. Admiral Chen's expression hardened. Deploy the Aegis platform. All ships concentrate fire on the flagship's weapon systems. From the Retribution's ventral bay, a specialized satellite launched, positioning itself between the Hegemony flagship and the colony. As the Hegemony vessel fired its antimatter missiles, the Aegis platform activated, generating a gravitational lens that bent space itself around the colony, causing the missiles to curve away from their intended target and back toward the Hegemony fleet. The resulting explosions consumed 3 Hegemony support ships and severely damaged 2 others. The shockwave reached the Eternal Dominion, overloading its already stressed shields and exposing its hull to direct attack. Executor, the tactical officer cried out. Our antimatter weapons have been redirected. Multiple ships lost. Dravkozar stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How? How are they doing this? The answer came in the form of a direct communication from the Retribution. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the Hegemony command screen, her expression cold and determined. Executor Dravkozar, this is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Your unprovoked genocide against the Meranti people has been answered. Your armada is crippled. Your tactical options are exhausted. Surrender your vessels or be destroyed. Dravkozar chittered in rage. You dare dictate terms to the Hegemony. We have ruled the stars for 6,000 years. You are nothing but upstart primates, ho. Chen cut the transmission with a gesture. They've made their choice. All ships, execute final attack pattern. Target their flagships, bridge, and engines. The Earth fleet moved with coordinated precision that seemed impossible for ships operating independently. Later analysis would reveal the advantage provided by the Meranti neural interfaces, allowing human vessels to communicate and coordinate at the speed of thought rather than through conventional signals. The Retribution led the attack, its advanced targeting systems guided by Ambassador Thelos' direct neural connection. Meranti telepathic abilities, once used only for peaceful communication, now directed the most devastating weapons humans had ever created. Multiple quantum disruptors struck the Eternal Dominion simultaneously, focused specifically on command areas and propulsion systems. The massive flagship structure began to fail, sections breaking apart as fundamental forces briefly realigned at the molecular level. On the disintegrating bridge, Executor Dravkozar finally understood the magnitude of his error. The humans hadn't hidden their true capabilities out of fear or weakness. They had done so strategically, anticipating that someday they might need the element of surprise against a technologically superior enemy. All vessels, he transmitted on the emergency frequency, retreat to Rally Point Delta. Full emergency withdrawal. The surviving Hegemony ships attempted to enter hyperspace, but Earth's electronic warfare systems had corrupted their navigation computers. Only 11 of the original 23 capital ships managed to escape, many with critical damage that would prevent them from reaching Hegemony space. The Eternal Dominion was not among them. Its hyperspace engines failed catastrophically, causing a cascade reaction through its power systems. Admiral Chen ordered all Earth ships to pull back to a safe distance as the Hegemony flagship collapsed in on itself before exploding in a brilliant flash that briefly outshone Proxima Centauri. 6 hours later, Admiral Chen and Ambassador Thelos stood in the Retribution's observation deck, watching as Earth medical ships delivered aid to the colony that had nearly been destroyed. The battle had been decisive. 14 Hegemony capital ships destroyed or captured, dozens of support vessels neutralized, and most importantly, the executor responsible for the Meranti genocide eliminated. The Hegemony Council will respond, Thelos said quietly. They cannot allow this defeat to go unanswered. Chen nodded. We're counting on it. That's why the second and third fleets are already moving to defensive positions around key systems. You anticipated everything, Thelos observed, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, this time in admiration. Even while presenting yourselves as technological inferiors to the galactic community, you were preparing for this conflict. Not specifically against the hegemony, Chen clarified, but human history is filled with encounters between technologically mismatched societies. Those encounters rarely end well for the less advanced civilization. She turned to face him directly. When we developed faster than light travel and confirmed intelligent life existed beyond our solar system, our leaders faced a choice: reveal everything we were capable of and risk being targeted, or present a more modest face while developing our defenses in secret. A strategy born of paranoia, Thelos suggested. A strategy born of experience, Chen corrected. And today, that strategy saved your species from extinction. The door to the observation deck slid open as President Vasquez entered, accompanied by her security detail. She had arrived on a diplomatic vessel to assess the situation personally, a calculated risk, but one that sent a powerful message to both Earth's colonies and the wider galactic community. Madam President, Chen saluted. The colony is secure. Hegemony forces have been driven from the system. Excellent work, Admiral, Vasquez acknowledged before turning to Thelos. Ambassador, I've reviewed the preliminary casualty reports. While we've dealt the hegemony a significant blow, there's still much to be done. The surviving Meranti need permanent sanctuary and assistance rebuilding. My people are eternally grateful, Thelos began, but Vasquez raised a hand to stop him. This isn't charity, Ambassador. This is alliance. The hegemony attacked the Meranti because of your association with us. That makes this our fight, as much as yours. Her expression softened slightly. Beyond that, it's simply the right thing to do. Earth will not stand by while an entire civilization is erased. A communication officer approached, his expression urgent. Madam President, we're receiving transmissions from 17 previously neutral species. They're requesting immediate diplomatic contact. Vasquez smiled grimly. Word of today's battle is spreading faster than we anticipated. The hegemony's aura of invincibility has been shattered. What happens now? Thelos asked. Now, the president replied, we build a coalition. The hegemony has ruled through fear for thousands of years, keeping emerging species isolated from each other and dependent on their technology. That changes today. 1 week later, representatives from 23 species gathered on Earth's orbital diplomatic station Unity. Some arrived openly, their governments publicly breaking ties with the hegemony. Others came in secret, still fearing reprisals but unwilling to miss this unprecedented gathering. In the central chamber, Ambassador Thelos addressed the assembly, standing before a holographic display showing the devastation of Luminera and other Meranti worlds. For 6,000 years, the hegemony has presented itself as the inevitable authority in our galaxy, benevolent to those who submit, ruthless to those who resist. His voice carried the weight of his people's tragedy. They executed billions of Meranti not because we threatened them, but because our alliance with humanity represented an alternative to their dominance. The holographic display shifted to show footage from the Battle of Proxima Centauri, Earth ships moving with impossible coordination, weapons that defied conventional understanding of physics, and tactical innovations that had confused and overwhelmed a numerically superior force. Humanity chose to stand with us when they could have abandoned our alliance to save themselves. Thelos continued. They revealed military capabilities they had kept hidden for years, sacrificing strategic secrecy to defend their allies. His 4 eyes surveyed the gathered representatives. Today, they extend that same hand of alliance to all who wish to live free from hegemony control. President Vasquez took the central podium as Thelos stepped aside. The Hegemony Council has already responded to our victory with typical arrogance. They've declared humanity a rogue species and ordered a full military mobilization. Their diplomats assure neutral worlds that the defeat at Proxima Centauri was an anomaly, soon to be corrected. Murmurs passed through the assembly, fear mixing with hope. Let me be clear, Vasquez continued. Earth does not seek to replace one galactic hegemon with another. We propose a different model entirely, a stellar concordat where member species retain their sovereignty while contributing to mutual defense and technological advancement. She gestured, and a holographic display showed a new image. Earth and Meranti ships working together to establish a defensive perimeter around a rescued Meranti colony. Already, Meranti biological technology combined with human engineering has produced innovations neither species could have developed alone. Imagine what 20 or 30 cooperative species might achieve. The Tavalian ambassador, his serpentine body coiled in his gravity chair, spoke up. The hegemony controls over 70% of known space. They have technological advantages developed over millennia. How can your concordat possibly stand against such power? Admiral Chen stepped forward. The hegemony's greatest weakness is their complacency. They haven't faced a serious military challenge in thousands of years. Their tactics are predictable, their responses formulaic. Most importantly, she emphasized, they fight alone. The tactical display shifted to show battle simulations. Humanity's victory wasn't just about technology, it was about innovation and adaptation. By combining our approaches with Meranti capabilities, we created something the hegemony couldn't anticipate. Each species that joins the concordat brings new perspectives, new technologies, and new tactical possibilities. Discussion erupted throughout the chamber. As representatives continued to deliberate, Earth's long-range sensors detected the first wave of the hegemony's counterattack fleet entering nearby systems. The real war was just beginning, but for the first time in millennia, the outcome was no longer certain. Humanity had changed the equation, and the galaxy would never be the same.